some of the statistics that we have on crime, but I'll just go and touch on a brief story that happened to me in the airport. A tribal girl was there. She was 21. She grew up right next door to the people next door had a 13-year-old boy. He'd been reoffending and offending, stealing cars. The police actually took him home, dropped him home, and his father met him at the front and said, gave him a serve, was going to give him a boot. And the police took the father away and left the boy there. Picked that one up. I just couldn't believe it. And she said, Steve, the young fella's been in trouble the whole time, and this is what we're dealing with. So the kid's still left there, unsupervised. The father's taken away to jail for trying to chastise his own child. But the kid's just rolled a car and almost killed someone on the highway. Anyway, there's absolutely no point in having tough laws if they're not being applied, and why would they be? Hundreds of pages of sentencing guidelines written by the former Attorney-General clearly direct judges not to send juveniles to prison. Believe me, I sympathise. The rights of young offenders do need to be protected. But don't non-offending children have rights as well? The right to feel safe in their homes, the right not to have their homes invaded, the right not to be attacked or robbed at night, to safety, and the right to expect justice. Thousands of child victims have been left traumatised by youth crimes in recent years. Many of them have gone on to discover that the court and the government don't actually care about them or the trauma, with the offenders rarely subjected to any real punishment. And what kind of message does that send to the child victims? No wonder many of them now have no faith in Queensland criminal justice system. Deputy Speaker, unless the government is prepared to legislate minimum sentences, we are basically wasting our time with tough sentencing laws. Which is why I support the motion's proposal for mandatory minimum sentence of 12 months for youth offenders convicted of 3 or more.
Point of order, Deputy Speaker.
What's your point of order, member for Pine Rivers? Please resume your seat, please, member for Moroney.
I refer to the motion that has been circulated in the name for the member for Traeger, and I believe that you've already made a ruling on this, that the first paragraph be deleted. The member for Moroney is specifically speaking to the first paragraph. I ask for your ruling on this matter.
I was just giving some advice to another member. I'll just take some advice from the Deputy Clerk. Thank you, member. Member, the first part of the motion has been ruled out of order earlier, and the motion has been rewritten as per my earlier ruling. You can reference it in the broader context of the issue, but you can't speak directly to that part of the motion. So both myself and the clerk were advising other members, and we will listen carefully. And I'd ask you to continue your contribution. Thank you for your guidance, Deputy Speaker. I also support the motion's proposal for relocation sentencing programs to be seriously explored. Putting young people in prison just makes them better criminals. Alternatives like relocation programs would send young offenders to remote areas with excellent facilities where they will be given a real chance of turning their lives around. The police do a fantastic job, but they are understaffed and under-resourced. One of the government's 2020 election promises was to hire 2,024 police personnel, including 1,450 officers by 2025. An extra 401 officers were hired from July 2020 to October 31, 2022, leaving 1,000 more officers' positions to fill to honour their commitment. The whole policing sector has become thoroughly demoralised and sick of having their hands tied in curbing youth crime. And over the last few years, there's been a significant feedback from regional public hearings and submissions which clearly show that the current sentencing by the Queensland courts have not met community expectations. The options set out in the motion are not just about getting tough on crime, they are a plan of action for responding to a small group of young offenders who engage in persistent and serious offending. This is the 17% of serious repeat offenders who commit 50% of the youth crime in Queensland. All Queenslanders have a right to feel safe in their homes and their communities, no matter where they live, and the young people who commit offences must be held accountable for their actions and the impact of these actions that they have on their victims and their families and the broader community.
I do support the motion, and also would like to touch on another thing that in my electorate that I find that's allowing this to continue is some of our branches, say for instance Mount Morgan, they're not 24-hour policing branches. Some of the other areas like Marlborough, now that has 1,000 itinerant workers that come there for the wind farms, doesn't have a 24-hour station either. Needs 2 police officers. I will speak to the minister. I have spoken to him earlier, and they need more policing. So they need more resources. They actually need more infrastructure to house those resources. Serena's another such example.
Member, I would ask you to come back to the substance of the motion.
So this is all part of the motion, Speaker, because when these people don't have 24-hour policing, the crime goes unchecked. The minute that those police officers or the police station shut their doors, the drug dealing starts, the people get in gangs together, they all start frequenting outside the pubs, trying to bum smokes off people, making people's life hell, going to businesses, giving them hell. I've seen it all. I've been complained to by many shop owner and business owner to the point where they have to shut up business until this witching hour of the young people goes. They've even tried to give these kids jobs, sweeping, doing anything they can to pay them to stop the offences and to stop demoralising local people and tourists. It's a sad state of affairs, Speaker, and we need to get on top of it. Thank you.